What do you think of Barrios? He's a big, strong, he's young, he's 30. You have 16 years on him, Manny.
Don't worry about it.
Manny, for a lot of people, you are the greatest fighter in history, the only champion in 4 different decades. When you beat Barrios, what does that say?
Oh, it's a big thing for me.
Tank Davis showed up at Manny Pacquiao's training camp this week and unexpectedly jumped into a sparring session with the legend. The surprise move caught some off guard, but for those paying close attention, it makes complete sense. This isn't just a cameo or a casual favor. Tank is testing the waters. Pacquiao is deep in preparation for his July 19th comeback fight against Mario Barrios, and Tank's presence in the camp sends a quiet but clear signal about what might be coming. Next.
So basically, your interpretation is that the boxing public is upset because they believe Pacquiao's going to beat Barrios, which is going to lead to a Tank Pacquiao fight?
Yes, look around. Look in the Discord. That's what everybody, Pac and Tank, that's being set up.
Oh,
Tank
so,
and Pac.
okay, so they saying Barrios is the setup for Tank and Pac. I didn't see that, but your argument makes sense. If he beats Barrios, there's nothing wrong with him fighting Tank. But the issue is he don't deserve the...
There's an undercurrent running through this training camp that's charged with more than just nostalgia, because it's not only about Mario Barrios anymore. It's about what lies ahead. It's about the future, about a 46-year-old former 8-division world champion trying to feel what it's like to be back under the bright lights and maybe, just maybe, setting the stage for one last mega fight.
Oh, Barrios and Manny thing, y'all don't see what the bigger picture is? Y'all don't think we're gonna get a Manny Pacquiao 2 coming soon? Y'all don't think so? Because you do know Barrios is the ultimate company man.
Oh.
Mayweather Pac 2? Yeah, I don't see that. I'm more on the Tank. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I think that Tank gets the fight.
That's what I've been saying. I said I'm gonna stand on it that if Manny Pacquiao pulls this off and gets that belt, Floyd Mayweather's coming out of...
At 46, Manny Pacquiao is still running hills, still working the mitts with Freddie Roach, still pushing his body through the same brutal grind he endured when he reigned over boxing's welterweight division. He knows it's different now. The legs are older, recovery takes longer, but his focus is unshakable. I'm still excited for it, and I'm enjoying all the training, Pacquiao told Boxing Scene. I still have the passion like before, so I'm excited. I don't have to worry about that. That's not just a throwaway line. That's a man who's thrown himself back into the grind. The difference this time? He doesn't need to do it. He just wants to.
You got your boy Barrios fighting Pacquiao, man.
Yeah.
You know, a legend. What do you think Barrios needs to do in that fight against Pacquiao, man?
I feel like he has to keep Pacquiao on the outside. He has a height and reach advantage, so I feel like he just go out there and do what he's always done.
What's your prediction for that fight?
Mario Barrios victory.
Do you think it goes all 12 rounds?
I think he has what it takes to stop Pacquiao.
You surprised Pacquiao's coming out of retirement at 46?
Pacquiao's last real fight was nearly 4 years ago, a decision loss to Yordenis Ugas in August 2021. After that, he flirted with exhibition bouts, dabbling half-heartedly before stepping away from the sport entirely. He turned his focus to politics, running for a Senate seat back home in the Philippines, but came up short in the elections. That was in May. By June, he had already committed to a new challenge. He chose Mario Barrios as his next opponent, a 30-year-old WBC welterweight champion from San Antonio. Barrios holds a record of 29 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw, and 18 knockouts. He's a true welterweight right in his prime, and that's something Pacquiao is fully aware of. I'm confident I'll win the fight, Pacquiao said, but I'm not taking it lightly and I'm not underestimating him. I have to push myself to the limit in training, just like I've always done.
I would ask a simple question. And please, Manny, tell me the truth. Why? That's it. That's it. Why? Why are you coming back? And the warrior that Manny is, he's gonna be like, because...
Barrios has stepped into the ring with elite fighters before, including Gervonta Tank Davis. That fight didn't go his way, but he gave Tank a real challenge before getting stopped. Since then, Barrios has rebuilt himself. And now, he holds the belt. He's not a tune-up fight, not a warm-up. He's a legitimate threat with everything on the line. Sparring partners describe Barrios as sharp, focused, and fully aware of what this opportunity means for his career. Amir Khan, who has trained with both men at different times, gave his honest take. It's a fantastic fight for Mario. He needs a big fight. He'll get paid well, and he's facing a legend like Manny Pacquiao. Who would say no to that? Khan said. Mario deserves this shot because every fighter dreams of that big payday, This will be huge for him.
I didn't think, like, this shit was really gonna happen. But I mean, we're here. He's doing something that not many people have done. I'm defending my title against a legend. I'm excited.
Mario, you fought the best at 140, 147. Do you have a favorite Manny Pacquiao fight? And, growing up, you saw like, man, this guy's like fucking legit.
Man, there's so many, but I grew up a big market.
Khan didn't stop there. When Virgil Hunter and I trained together, I used to spar with Mario a lot. He's a really skilled boxer, Khan said. I don't know how much Manny has left in the tank. If they were both in their prime, I'd say Manny Pacquiao all day. But this could be a tricky fight for him. He's been out of the ring for a long time, and the question is, does he still have that fire in his belly? Barrios, I'm sure he's going in with everything he's got because this fight could completely change his life. Pacquiao knows the game. He's seen this movie before, and he's not about to let himself become a stepping stone for a young fighter's breakout moment. That's exactly why he's back with Freddie Roach. That's why the road work is intense again. That's why the mitt work is sharp, focused, not flashy or just for show. Pacquiao isn't here to sell nostalgia. He's here to prepare for a real fight. I only trained for 1 week for those random exhibition bouts, he said. But now they can all expect the real Manny Pacquiao. I know the fans are excited to see me fight again. I'll give it my all. That's why I'm training like I used to, pushing myself in the gym. I'm here to put on a real fight. I won't let the fans down.
Manny, trust me. Let your body relax, let your body rest. He'll do fine. He's experienced. He's got obviously the power because it never leaves you. The speed I'm a little worried about, but I think, look, Barrios is a live dog. He's a world champion, and he's no slouch. So I think it's going to be a good fight. I wish Manny all the best. I'm not sure who's going to win. I really haven't seen Barrios, but I think Barrios, I mean, the youth is obviously with him in his corner.
The energy in camp was already solid, but it got a boost this week thanks to title wins by 2 fighters promoted by Pacquiao, Mexico's Wilibaldo Garcia and the Philippines' Pedro Taduran. The wins meant more than just business. I'm excited and happy for them, and proud that I could help others reach my dream, Pacquiao said. It's a reminder that his life in boxing never truly stopped. He just stepped away from the spotlight, and now he's stepping back into it. If he wins this fight, it'll mark his 13th welterweight title win, dating back to that legendary TKO over Miguel Cotto in 2009. That was nearly 16 years ago, and yet here he is, still chasing belts, still packing arenas, still drawing the world's attention. It means a lot to come back, he said of his goal to reclaim a world title at 46, and I've asked that of the Lord. If he pulls it off, he'd become the 2nd oldest world champion in boxing history.
Show.
1 second. Do you have, so you got Manny winning?
Yes.
You got Manny winning?
No. Against Barrios?
Yeah.
No, I think, look, every great fighter got one great fight left in him. That had to be Thurman. And Manny, I think Manny seems to want to, Manny appears to be like how Bernard and Roy were. Like, he's really one of those great old school fighters where he's got to go out on his shield.
Yeah.
Going out on your shield used to not mean just in it.
And it might not stop there. The buzz around a potential fight with Gervonta Tank Davis is already gaining momentum. Sean Gibbons, Pacquiao's longtime promoter and close friend, didn't hold back. When he beats Mario Barrios, line them up. His dream fight is Gervonta Davis. He's loved that matchup for years. He tried to get that fight before, but Gervonta kept saying he wouldn't fight him at 145. Then Gervonta goes and gets smoked by Lamont Roach. So now, Manny, Pacquiao can grab this belt, and from there it's going to be one hell of a ride.
What makes you think he's got a chance against the much younger, the 29-year-old Mario Barrios?
Look, I'm not saying the odds will be high that he's going to come back and pull this upset or even be ultra competitive. But again, it's sort of like Manny's already superhuman. Turning pro at like age 15 or 16 at 106 pounds and winning titles in 8 divisions. And oh, by the way, 2 fights ago for Manny in 2019, he came out of retirement.
Gervonta Davis is expected to rematch Lamont Roach in August after their first fight ended controversially, with fans calling for a redo. That controversial outcome dented Tank's reputation. If he wins convincingly in the rematch, and if Pacquiao gets past Barrios, then the stage is perfectly set for a generational clash between the aging legend and the current star. This is no longer a fantasy. It's a series of realistic steps. Tank coming to Pacquiao's camp to spar could easily be seen as a handshake before the contracts are signed. There are other names being mentioned too, like Jake Paul. Reports suggest he and Tank might be discussing an exhibition bout, but Paul is a detour. Pacquiao is the main road, legacy versus ambition, name versus name, and both fighters understand exactly what's at stake.
Really, there's the thought. It's an absolute joke. I love Manny Pacquiao. Love everything about him. An all-time great in terms of what he's done previous, but that doesn't entitle you to just walk back in after 6 years and get a number 4 ranking with the WBC and fight for a world title. What about all the other guys that are waiting around? It's wrong. We seen Manny Pacquiao fight an exhibition against a kickboxer in his last fight, and kickboxers can't box, right? I've seen.
When asked if he planned to fight again after Barrios, Pacquiao didn't fully commit. "I don't know, one fight at a time. I need to focus on this one," he said. That's what he always says, before the fights with Cato, De La Hoya, Thurman. But those close to him already know what's next. Sean Gibbons didn't hesitate to reveal the dream fight, Gervonta Davis. If that fight happens, it will be one of the most unexpected collisions in recent boxing history. Not because it doesn't make sense, but because so few believed Pacquiao would come back this seriously. The exhibitions dulled the hype, his political run suggested boxing was behind him, but Pacquiao isn't returning for nostalgia. He's coming back for a belt, and maybe one last marquee name on his record.
I think it's terrible, to be honest with you. I mean, it just sort of like sums up the way boxing's going these days. The WBC, I think, is for so many years has been known as the most respected out there. You know, the famous green belt. You know, but boxing just seems to turn a corner. You know, a 58-year-old Mike Tyson fighting Jake Paul. 46-year-old Manny Pacquiao coming back, not just coming back after years of time, straight into the top 10 of the world rankings and fighting for.
Yordenis Ugas knows exactly what it means to share the ring with Manny Pacquiao. He did it in 2021 and beat him fair and square. But now, as Pacquiao prepares to face Mario Barrios, Ugas views the situation differently. He doesn't see it as just the return of a boxing legend, but as a complex, risky challenge for Barrios. Ugas, who also fought Barrios in 2023 and lost, has a unique perspective, having gone toe-to-toe with both men. What he sees isn't an easy path for Barrios. Instead, Ugas believes Barrios is stepping into a fight laced with danger, no matter how it ends.
This is a bad idea. Out of nowhere, the WBC decides they want their welterweight champion, Mario Barrios, to defend his belt against Manny Pacquiao. About 7 to 8, maybe 9, 10 years ago, I would have said, hells yeah, if we had a Manny Pacquiao championship fight. But Manny's been...
Ugas explained that Barrios is stuck in a lose-lose situation. If Barrios beats Pacquiao, critics will chalk it up to age. If he loses, the backlash could be even worse. It could be a lose-lose situation, Ugas said. If he wins, people will say, Pacquiao was old. If he loses, they'll say, you lost to an old man. Barrios is taking a big risk. Ugas added that when he fought Pacquiao, it wasn't a version of the Filipino legend limping into the twilight of his career. Pacquiao had just come off one of his most impressive victories, beating Keith Thurman, the then top welterweight in the division. The version Ugas beat had momentum, belief, and sharpness. That version was still dangerous.
There's a lot to unpack here. I'm going to start with the fact he's coming out of retirement. It's a real shame that he sees the need, at his age, 46 years old, to come out of retirement after 4 years out of the game, after 6 years since winning a fight. This also being his second fight, professional fight, in that same span of time, 7 years, 6 years, 7 years. It's a real shame that he feels the need. Look, he probably lost a lot.
Now, the context is entirely different. This time, Pacquiao is 46 years old, coming off a 4-year layoff and a loss. He looked slow and out of rhythm in his recent exhibition against Japanese kickboxer Rukia Ampo. Many thought that would be the final image of Pacquiao in a boxing ring. Yet here he is, set to challenge a world champion once again. This time it's harder, Ugas admitted. Still, he knows enough about Pacquiao to keep his expectations in check. We'll see. It'll be a good fight, though.
After his training with Freddie Roach, he's back in the gym at the Wild Card Gym as well.
Pacquiao made it very official today in Twitter. He says, in quote, "I'm back," end quote. He also wrote on social media, he's added, "Let's make history," end quote. Now, Pacquiao, we're going to talk about his training a little bit, all the critical howl from the public about him coming back. And also,
that fight against Ugas in 2021 was supposed to be Pacquiao's comeback story. Instead, it became his send-off. Ugas outboxed and outpointed him, leaving Pacquiao unable to match the output that defined his prime. The speed, angles, and flurries that overwhelmed opponents for decades were muted. It looked like the final chapter had been written. Afterward, Pacquiao fully pivoted toward politics, running for president in the Philippines in 2022. When that campaign failed, he quietly began mulling a return. It wasn't about money, at least not entirely. It was about something deeper: legacy, pride, the need to end things on his own terms.
Well, I got excited about that. Don't tarnish your legacy. You have a pretty good legacy.
It's for the WBC Welterweight Championship on July 19th in Las Vegas.
Yeah, just don't do it.
He has enough money. I don't know why he wants to.
I know. He's 46.
That desire has kept him training and testing the waters. Last year's exhibition didn't go well, but Pacquiao has doubled down. He's now in full training camp, chasing a real belt against a real opponent in a sanctioned world title fight. That fact alone has stirred controversy. Promoter Frank Warren spoke candidly about his discomfort. You come in and test the waters, then go straight into a world title fight. I don't understand that. For me, it doesn't sit well. Not for the sport. I've got to be honest, I don't agree with it. Warren compared Pacquiao's comeback to other aging fighters like Vladimir Klitschko and George Foreman, who returned long after their primes. But even with those examples, Warren isn't convinced this is the right way for boxing to showcase its legends.